Hello and welcome along to this month's Drawalong, exclusive to Patreon. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Mark from MarcoLooks, and today we are going to be drawing a new elf to join the world of Arthur Christmas. If you haven't seen Arthur Christmas, I cannot recommend it enough. It is one of the most beautiful Christmas stories, animated with love and care, and I just love it so much. It's animated in the Sony Picture Studios, and it's also a collaboration with Aardman Animations. Now, I don't know if you know, but I did my training as an animator at Aardman, and I was there when it got to December. They put all their Christmas decorations up, and as you can imagine, Aardman Animation Studios are spectacular at Christmas time. And they had a massive section kind of at the bottom of their stairs past the canteen throughout one of the other buildings that was dedicated to Arthur Christmas, and there was the letterbox, and you could deliver your letters to Santa all in the style set up like Arthur Christmas, and it was it brought me so much joy. If you haven't seen Arthur Christmas, I would thoroughly recommend it. In fact, as soon as I finish this draw along, I'm going downstairs and I'm going to be watching Arthur Christmas because it is a thing of beauty. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk a little bit more about what we're doing today. So in Patreon, in the post, you'll have a link to the worksheet, which is here. And again, it's another reference source. So I have collected images of the elves that are in the movie Arthur Christmas, because we are going to be drawing a new elf to join the movie. Now, something a little bit different. In previous draw-alongs we've done, such as the Monsters Inc., we looked at ways to stylize the creation so that it would differentiate from the characters that are already there, so it would fit in that respect. So with the Monsters Inc. Draw-along, I think that was our I think that was the first draw-along. I think that was the first one. We were creating a brand new monster, so we wanted it to stand out against the main monsters, which are Mike and Sully. If you haven't had a go at that draw-along, go and have a look at it. It's a really, really good one. I really enjoyed creating. Oh, the name escapes me. What was the name? Try. Angelica. Angelica the monster. I really enjoyed creating Angelica. But this time, because the elves have a certain uniform, because they work for the big man himself, I want to create a character that fits in, so I'll be using the same colours from the uniforms that are already here. I mean, of course, we could create another elf from another department or something like that, but I want to create a character that will fit in directly with the world of Arthur Christmas. So I'm going to be using the same uniform styles here. So I've added lots of different versions of the characters so you can get an idea, as well as some work in progress and some original art ideas that came from the book, The Art of Arthur Christmas, which I'll link below. It'll be an affiliate link, so if you want to buy it, they're beautiful books, you can have a look and you'll get more examples of how they created the characters. Anyway, I digress. So with this draw along, long story short, I'm going to be using the same colours that are found in the key elf characters here. So we're looking at greens, like kind of the camouflage to fit in with the Christmas trees in Arthur Christmas. So what we're really focusing on is the composition of the head against the body, and looking at different features that we can accentuate to make a character really feel like they live within the world of Arthur Christmas. Okay, so print out your worksheets if you want to get some inspiration, or if you just want to go ahead and draw what I'm drawing, that's good too. And this will be found on the link on Patreon, and also there'll be a colouring in sheet. We don't know what it looks like yet because I haven't drawn it, but it'll be there as well, so you can either draw your own character or colour in a character that I've already drawn. Lots of options, so you can have a lovely festive moment working on some lovely Arthur Christmas style drawings. Okay, so without further ado, let's go. I have my Faber-Castell colouring pencils, my favourite Faber-Castell colouring pencils. We have my HB pencil, which I've grown quite attached to. I use quite a lot now. I have my black Helix Oxford Fine Line, as well as my eraser, and I have my pencil sharpener because it is imperative you always use sharp pencils when you are working, because it just makes things a lot easier. Okay, so let's go. Let's try and create a character. I haven't decided yet if my character is going to be male or female. I don't think it really matters. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so general structure, general composition. If we look here, the head is really big. The head is almost the same size as the body. If we look at the space, if we just use this L for example, how can I measure this to show you? The space of the head is like that, about that big. So if you just move this down, we can see it's taking up most of the torso, and again with the legs. So we're working in the whole body being divided into 3. So let's sketch something out. So there we have a space for the head, and well, that's that measurement again for the body, and that measurement again for the feet. This one's a little bit higher. So these are spaces we are going to be working in. Do you like my hat, by the way? My Santa hat? Might get a bit hot, I might take off a bit later, but I thought, hey, let's get in the spirit. Let's get in the spirit. So, I hope you like it. So the head is going to be up here. Let's just start blocking in for the top and the bottom, something like this. Now, what I really love about this image that I found of Bryony, the elf, is the dynamic nature of the pose. So if you don't know, Bryony Shelfley, I think she's called, is her surname, is a great present wrapper. She can wrap a present with just 3 pieces of tape, just 3 pieces of tape. And so this is her with her scissors and her wrapping paper here. And so I think it'd be fun to incorporate an element of the kind of Christmas process with this character as well. And I'm not sure if I want to have just a standard standing pose like this. I wonder if we should have something a little bit more dynamic. So for example, if I just draw the little sketch up here, body, leg, another leg, arms, just something a little bit more interesting. So immediately we're not just in like a regular standing pose. So I'm going to actually go for something like this. And so I'm going to play around with the posing we have here, keeping these size structures in place. And I'm going to do what we call a line of action, which is a line that runs all throughout the body. So we have the head, the body kind of following this line here, and the other leg coming down, something like this. Now let's pop in another leg, and an arm, and another arm. These are the hips, shoulders, legs and feet. Now we need to find the character in here. Why is the character in this pose? What are they doing? What are they doing that could be related to Christmas? Let's pop a little hat on. They sometimes have little like beanie hats. And they have really big ears. And we've got the centre of the lions. They all have very big noses. But what are they doing? What are they doing? So Bryony does wrapping. We have someone else here with a plunger because they are evidently doing some sort of Mission Impossible style building scaling so they can get in down the chimney and deliver all the presents. So I wonder if I know what this is going to be. So the elves are the ones in the story that go and deliver all the presents down the chimney. They arrive on their magic sleigh, the space sleigh, and they go down the chimney and they, Mission Impossible style, get the presents to the bottom of the Christmas tree. Now, often in lots of houses, there are pets. And so perhaps some houses have lots of dogs. And these elves want to make sure that the dogs are going to be distracted. So this elf is going to be on the mission with the other elves and is going to be the master of the treats to be able to distract the dog. And he's in this pose because he is precariously stepping very kind of tiptoey, very quietly, so as not to disturb the dog. And so I think I'm going to draw some dog treats in his hand and maybe something else for a dog in his hand. Got it. So what you will find often when you're creating your own character, you want to give your characters a little bit more purpose. And once you understand their purpose, you can work out what sort of pose to put them in. And so you're already making your characters more characterful, more interesting, more engaging. Yeah, I'm really happy to talk about that more in a little bit more detail if you want to. And if that's the case, pop a comment on this post and we can definitely do that. I can create a more detailed video about creating characters with purpose and with character to help improve the character design. So we now know what our character's doing. So let's have his arm up here, and I think it is going to be a he. They seem to wear little gloves, so that's a good idea. And in this hand here, let's see, I'm just going to rub out this little sketch over here because I want to draw over here. I think I want to have the treats up here. Just going to block in a hand like this. Oh, and so in the bag, it's going to be a clear bag, and I want there to be like dog treats. So let's pop in a dog bone. So straight away we know that we get a more of an idea of what's going on in the picture. We have a dog bone in a biscuit, and a biscuit style. There we go. And they're in the bag because they need to not be too smelly to wake up the dog, because these are for diversion tactics. Okay, so let's draw the hand. His fingers, and let's have the glove here. And over here, let's have him maybe holding like a ball as another way of distracting the dog. Okay, let's pop in some eyes. The eyes are quite small and round. And I want him looking over here. Oh, excuse me, that's an update on my computer. I want to have the expression eyebrows up and mouth kind of to the side. Let's give him a little bit of hair up here for his hat. We have the turtleneck style top. Let's give him a tool belt as well. Now on the tool belt, what else do dogs like? What else? Treats. I don't own a dog. Treats. They throw balls. If I did this for cats, it'd be easy. Although maybe they can do cats as well. But I've already drawn bones, and so I don't want to get too distracting there. Maybe just more treats, or maybe like a lead, so that he can, if he needs to, take the dog out and catch it on its collar. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's a good idea, but we are just going to go with it. So let's just have a lead coming out of his pocket here as well. The scaling is quite small, but it can be magic, it can be magical, it can be a lead that gets bigger. There. And so he's going to have boots on. Something like this. For the purpose of this draw along, I think this pose is okay. I think if I was to do it again, I would have him maybe on tiptoes, but that's okay. This is okay. Let's try and get more details. Let's give him a backpack as well. So he has other things going on in there. The treats. Okay, so I think that is gonna be our sketch. Just checking that's all worked out in the filming. So let's go in with some fine line. Because I've drawn a lot of lines, sketching lines. So now I need to bring out the character, and so I'm going to do that with the fine line pencil. What would sometimes happen in some studios, if a designer was creating this character like this, they would probably draw on another piece of paper, or maybe put some tracing style paper on top, or just use another colour. So often you may have seen, I did it in my drawing Ariel from the Little Mermaid draw along back in June. I started drawing in red pencil, and then I brought out the lines using my blue pencil. But for the purpose of this draw along, I'm just going to use this as the draft, and use a fine line as the go-to final line. But there are no rules. You can do it how you want to do it. It's completely up to you how you want to do that. So let's go in and try and find our character. So I've drawn the contents of the bag first, and then the bag can be easier to draw, because sometimes if you're drawing contents within a bag, for example, and you draw the bag first, you can be quite limited by what the space you have inside to draw. So that's why I did it that way around. And I'm just going to draw a candy cane tucked into his shoe to give a bit more elfish appeal. And there we have our elf. He's appeared. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rub out the pencil marks and perhaps go in again with some more detail after that, once we can kind of see a little bit more clearly about what is going on with the character. Okay, so there we have the line. Do I want to put some glasses on him, like some safety goggles? That might be a good idea, actually, because he's working with animals who want to be safe. Right, I'm going to draw in pencil first to draw goggles on top. Something like that, that's fine. Let's just draw over that. Oh dear, that line didn't go quite so well, but that's fine. Okay. So, on with the uniform. The uniform is green, so I'm going to get all my greens out of the colouring box. And I'm just going to, first of all, go over all the uniform area in a light green, because then we can add darker greens on top to show depth and definition and shadow and that sort of thing. Okay, so let's go. And what we're doing is, well, I need to think of a name for him. It'd be nice if he had a name that was related to being an elf. like Bryony. I'm sure her surname is like Shelfley, something like that. So if he could have a name that was a sort of pun, a play on words with elves, but also something to do with pets and dogs, because then his name would help an audience with defining his character a little bit as well. It's all part of the storytelling process. So I'm going to have a think, because typical dog names might be names like Fido. That's quite a cliche dog name, but hey. Spot. We could have something to do with dog breeds, like a Labradoodle. Don't know why that one just came to my head. Staffy. All sorts. So if I don't come up with the name in this draw along right now, have a look on the colouring in sheet, because I'll put the elf's name on the bottom of the colouring in sheet. And I think that'd be fun. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a darker green. I'm going to put a link to these colouring pencils, because these colouring pencils are really good. I'll put a link in the bottom of the description. Bottom of the description? Yeah. The description for this video on Patreon and also in YouTube. I'll put a link so you can have a look and see if you want to get similar as well. What I really like about them is they're really soft, and the paper that I'm working on is very absorbent, and so together it just works really nicely. Okay, so all I'm doing here is adding darker green into the areas that might be a little bit in shadow, so under his arms, around his belt, and under his arms here. And I'm going to darken up his collar a little bit here. And I want to go ahead with another dark green for the belt. So this is more of a, I guess, a forest green. And I think I already said they wear green to camouflage, because they find themselves in amongst Christmas trees, hiding, so they can deliver their presents safely. And just gonna I'll probably use another colour, warm colour right now, to give his backpack a bit more definition. In fact, I might do that now. I'm just going to get a brown. I've got kind of a reddish brown here. I'm just going to, just the part of the backpack that we can see that would be in contact with the character's back. Something like that. Now, for the glasses, I think I want to use something around this colour rather than the lighter green, just to add more interest in the picture, so we're not using the same tone throughout. And I'm just going to press lightly as well to give it like a glass like effect. And I'm not going to colour over his eyes, just to help the eyes pop out, to stand out a little bit more in the illustration. I'm just going to press a little bit harder around the edges, as if there's some extra thickness in that part of the glasses. Okay, I'm now going to move on to go back to brown for his hair. I feel this character has brown hair. And let's have a look at his little star I've drawn on his uniform. I want that yellow, and I want this badge over here actually, or pocket, just be a darker green to stand out amongst the light green of the uniform there. And let's put some dark green as well on the cuffs. And I'm going to use a black, or I could use a very, very dark green. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a black colouring pencil. I'm going to colour in lightly, then I'm going to go on top of it again with green for the fingerless gloves and the boots. But I might just leave the boots black. What is this character called? He's a pet distractor. That's his division in the Elf Corps. So that all the presents can be delivered correctly and on time without distractions. There we go. The green on top just gives the gloves a little bit more interest and matches in with the feel of the uniform there. I'm just using the black to add a little bit more shading on the belt. Let's go on to the boots. I'm pressing lightly at first, and then I will add shading and shadow by pressing a bit darker. So let's do that now, just on the base of the boot. Oh dear, I went out the edges. Let's see if I can erase that a little bit, tidy that up. And the same over here. So lightly at first. And then dark. Pressing a bit harder. To add more interest like that. Okay, let's just check this is all filming okay. Very good. Okay, so get a red and let's do the candy cane in his boot there. And I think I want this ball to be red as well. Because red and green are very good colours for Christmas. And also looks like a holly berry as well. So again, I'm just going over all quite lightly, and now I'm just going to go in and pressing harder around the edges and where the ball is in contact with the little character's hand to give a feeling of shadow. Something like that. Now let's have a look at these biscuits. I'm going to go over in brown, some different browns, the colour of biscuits. So there we have the same brown that you'll find in this hair. Have a lighter brown here for the one in front. And let's use like a yellowy tone for the last dog treat. Something like that. Just adding in some more shadow and some shading to give the treats a little bit more depth. And some dots as well to give it a feeling of a baked good. And the bag is going to be clear, so let's just get a bit of blue. That'll do. And just lightly just add in something like that. Now we need to do the skin tone. So these are all quite pink and cream. We do have a couple of darker skin, like brown skin here. So I think I'm going to colour, he's got dark hair, so let's go with a darker skin tone, why not? So I'm just going to go lightly in with the brown. And then I will press harder in the areas where there is shading to be done. So the area, the corners of the ears, under the face. You'll see what I mean. So in the ears here, under the glasses, over here. In fact, probably this whole ear, because it's in the distance there, so it's in a bit more shadow. The bottom side of the nose. And let's just pop in a little bit of pink on the cheeks and on the end of the nose. I'm actually going to use a purple. The skin still looks quite light, so let's just go in again. And there we have our little elf that is joining the Arthur Christmas mission to deliver the presents. And this elf is in charge of making sure the mission goes ahead and there's no distractions from pets. And so he has the pet treats and the pet ball, as well as a lead that's going to magically grow if he should need to use it to take the dog outside or something like that. So there is our little character. So have a look on the colouring in sheet, because I will come up with a name for him. And that is my draw along. I hope you get to either colour in or draw this character along with me on Christmas Eve. Maybe whilst you're even watching, oh no, you can't watch two things at the same time. Or maybe do the draw along, draw your character with me and colour it in whilst watching After Christmas, and then colour in this character that will be available as a colouring in sheet at the bottom of the description as well on the Patreon post, and you can colour that in character as well. Oh, as I'm looking at the character, I haven't added shade in for the thumbs and the fingers. Deary me. Sorry, I just wanted to finish that. So all that leaves me to say is thank you very much for being here with me in 2022. Here's to 2023, where there's going to be more draw-alongs and all sorts of other content on Patreon that you can enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. It really means the world. And I'll catch up with you all very soon. If you're celebrating Christmas, have the most wonderful time. If you're not celebrating Christmas, I still hope you get to eat lots of really lovely things, because there's lots of lovely things to eat about at the moment. Have the best time, have a wonderful new year, and I'll catch up with you in January for our next draw along. Okay, take care, lots of love, bye.